G'day guys, I'm just having a quick video to show you how to spot battery drain on your Xiaomi device, but this should be applicable for most Android devices. So we want to go into settings, then we want to go into battery. And what I noticed was my battery was getting drained terribly over the last few nights, and I couldn't quite figure out why. I had battery saver on, I had the phone getting very minimal use. If I go to here and here, I've dropped from about 98%, I'd say roughly, down to almost 75% between 11 o'clock and 5 in the morning, where the phone is currently not using mobile data. It's in various other settings are enabled. So what's going on here? I did actually manage to figure this one out, funnily enough. You can see right at the time where I figured it out. So from about 5 o'clock onwards, my battery drain was very minimal. So around 5 o'clock I figured out what was going on with my phone. So if I turn this up here to here. So I'm looking, typically phone idle will use the most amount of power, or that's what I would typically expect to see. But I've got Netflix going on, System UI, Android suspended, Chrome, Notification Buddy, Cell Standby, eBay, so these are using very minimal usage. But if I look down to other, that's using a fair bit of that chunk. So right now I click on other, and it says power consumed by other apps. It doesn't actually give you the name of them. So what I had to do was just go through the list of my most recently installed applications, and I figured out what was going on. And I remembered that I actually installed essentially a system notification LED, similar to the always on display. And from here to here, I had it uninstalled. If I go down to the bottom and look at other, it's used 45 milliamp hours, where before that, it had used, I think it was around 200, if not more. If it lets me select where I want to. 253. So it used 5 times more power in standby. And what this system light was meant to do was it was meant to be whenever I got a notification, it would essentially put a single spot on the screen and start pulsing. Just so essentially a notification LED, which this phone does not have. So I believe it was about 3-4 days ago that I decided to install one. That'd be handy. And turns out my phone started draining battery, so it would go from essentially fully charged to half charged in less than 8 hours, 12 hours. So instead of this phone lasting me about 2 days, it was barely lasting me 1. And it was all because of this one particular notification draining it, or one particular application. So with it, if you go through the list that you've got here, you should hopefully be able to diagnose which one is using the most amount of data or most amount of power. So for example, if you had Netflix and that was at 60% and it had used a lot, I would assume obviously that either A, that you're constantly watching Netflix and it's draining your battery that way, or let's say it was Facebook, same story, they're very obvious ones. Another one that may be different is you might have Google services or Google Play services or just Google Play. And let's say maybe at 11 o'clock at night, it's decided to use 20% of your battery. Then I would be suspecting that apps are getting updated at that time and the device and the phone is getting synced. So another thing I have disabled is sync, but if I go into them and actually show you them, so if I go into battery once more, if I can find it, battery saver, settings, no, battery saver, don't wait for notifications, turn off always on display, and it's also got restrict the activity of system apps, freeze apps in the background, clear cache, turn off features and services with high power consumption, sync 5G connectivity, raise to wake, show fingerprint icon when the screen is off. So all those things do get disabled overnight because I'm essentially not using it anyway, so it doesn't really need to be on. Anyway, that's all for today regarding battery optimization and trying to find a battery drawer or an app on your phone drawing and draining your battery. And I hope this helped. Bye.